Let's begin with the first question and answer session. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. Therefore, we ask that only one question be asked per phone call and that these questions be as brief as possible. You may call the studio directly at the phone or fax numbers which appear on your screen, including the ITC iPhone number 688-1700. We remind you to make your phone calls at a distance from the monitor to avoid feedback. Our first question comes from Tianjin, China, and it is faxed to us, so I will go ahead and read it for you. In order to synchronize with the new chaotic world that we face today, should we invest more time and money on developing our human or technological or our knowledge strengths? Which of these areas, or all of them, do you think produces a greater multiplier effect in terms of benefits?
As always, what great questions our customers come up with. These three things are all connected. My instincts say start with people, but as I think about it, maybe the place to start is knowledge. Building your knowledge base, preserving the knowledge that you create through your innovations, through your activities and experiences, and then maybe secondarily to finding ways to share knowledge so that everybody has access to the knowledge that you've developed. But you've got to have good people, you've got to train them, you've got to provide the best technology possible, both for their doing of their work and in your products and services. So the three are obviously connected.
Okay. Another fax question from Mexico, and this is an interesting question. How do you see the future of Mexico as a positive society or a positive economy, I suppose?
I'm always get nervous when people ask me questions about specific countries. My instincts, again, are to always be as diplomatic as possible and not say something too critical. I find Mexico a fascinating country. The economy is developing rapidly. This recent involvement with swine flu, Mexico's reaction to it was probably as good as any country in the world would be able to come up with a reaction to that kind of new thing that we just didn't know quite what to expect from it, even though in the end I think the experience is it wasn't so terrible. There are probably some issues with how fast people in some cultures can adapt to change, but Mexico, my impression is Mexico is doing a fantastic job. So.
Okay, we have a short period of time for another question from Mexico, which is coming to us live on the phone. Please go ahead.
Su pregunta, por favor. Sí, buenos días. Su pregunta, por favor, adelante. How can we develop this new strategy with our personnel, with our current situation that we are living in currently? How can we develop this?
I think the question about developing a strategy, the sort of traditional answer is to build it from the bottom up. That is, get your people together, give them the information about what is happening and what the circumstances are in the organization, and ask them to develop the strategy. But there are probably some aspects of the world that they need to be educated in as well, so that their strategy that they develop responds to that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Our next question is also faxed from Panama, and I will go ahead and present it. Do you think the development of collaboration networks within many industries and sectors will require a change of mentality, particularly in government and public education, given that traditionally public institutions tend not to share knowledge?
Yeah, I think what's happening is the technology is getting ahead of maybe our managerial capabilities. The younger generation live with the technology. To them, collaboration is a way of life. They're text messaging and Twittering and emailing each other all the time, putting out their questions about what to do and how to do it, and accepting input from anybody and everybody. it's a totally new way of operating, and that may become the norm, whether people my age or your age are ready for it.
I guess there's a difference between hoarding information and thinking that you're preserving your job security and sharing knowledge and building the knowledge of the organization. How do we balance between the two factors?
Well, I don't think we can hoard information anymore. Even if we might want to, the technology makes it possible for other people to access that information. So, just in the sense of responding to customer needs and innovating constantly to meet the changes in the environment, hoarding information doesn't work anymore.
All right, very good. Our next question also coming from Mexico, Baja, Mexicali, so I will present it again. Is the concept of human capital in private enterprises the same as the concept of political capital in government institutions?
My understanding of political capital is that it's more a question of you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of issues, where human capital is a broader concept. It's the capabilities, the brain power of your employees. So to me, they're not comparable concerns. We have to worry about human capital. I'd like to get away from having to worry about political capital.
Thank you for your questions. Let's now move to the second module of our program.